yang bukan Islam, bolehlah mereka bertafakur sebentar. Al-Fatihah. Okey, amin amin rabbal alamin. Okey, seperti yang saya maklumkan tadi, taklimat ini adalah taklimat pertama iaitu berkaitan dengan taklimat MUET yang akan disampaikan oleh Puan Nurul Bazilah Abdul Hamid, Pensyarah Pusat Asasi Akademi Pengajian Bahasa. Betul Okey, jadi sepanjang tempoh taklimat yang diberikan ni, saya minta supaya pelajar sentiasa fokus, menota dan mencatat tarikh-tarikh penting berkaitan dengan MUET ni. Kalau sekiranya ada persoalan, sebab banyak persoalan yang timbul adalah di manakah saya nak ambil MUET, bolehkah saya ambil MUET secara on demand, apakah band-band yang sesuai, sebab tidak semua band 1 hingga 6 tu sesuai dengan programnya. Apa lagi soalan-soalan yang berkaitan bolehkah nanti kalau sepanjang taklimat tu kita bertanyakan soalan, ataupun selepas itu pun boleh juga masalah Okey, soalan juga boleh diajukan dekat ruangan YouTube Ada ruangan YouTube tu, boleh tanya di situ. Mungkin ada pegawai-pegawai kami juga akan membantu sekiranya dapat ataupun saya akan kumpulkan soalan-soalan itu dan diajukan selepas taklimat dan dalam sesi soal jawab nanti. Okey, tanpa membuang masa, taklimat ini akan dilaksanakan selama lebih kurang 1 jam 10 pagi hingga pukul 11 pagi. Jadi saya menjemput Puan Nurul Bazilah Abdul Hamid untuk menyampaikan taklimat beliau. Dipersilakan.
Okey, terima kasih banyak-banyak Encik Rizal. Untuk pengetahuan semua, Encik Rizal ni salah seorang top guns di hal ehwal akademik Pusat Asasi UiTM Dengkil. So, always willing to help. Again, thank you so much Encik Rizal for the introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning I bid to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. As part of our Minggu Destini Siswa, I would like to welcome all of you to our MUET briefing where I will be sharing everything you need to know about MUET. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dear students, please allow me to take this opportunity to congratulate each and every single one of you for not only being offered a place here at the Center of Foundation Studies, UiTM Dengkil campus, but also having accepted the offer to become a part of our large yet tight-knit family. So I know the journey to get here wasn't easy. All of you have worked really, really hard. You have sacrificed a lot. So the fact that all of you are here with us is something to be commended, something to be applauded. So again, well done, dear students. Congratulations once again. Now, let's talk about MUET, shall we? Now, before that, as Encik Rizal has mentioned earlier, you can ask any questions pertaining to MUET in the chat box. I will try to answer all of your questions after I finish my presentation. So now please allow me to share my screen. I have some slides here. Okay, Encik Rizal and everyone, I hope you can hear, you can see my screen. Can everyone see my screen, Teresa? Just to confirm.
Okay, Puan Bazilah.
Boleh Okay, alright. So once again, dear students, welcome to our MUET briefing. My name is Miss Nurul Bazilah binti Abdul Hamid, and I am going to be your presenter for today. If you have any questions, please ask. I will answer towards the end. Okay, so now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with MUET, but there might be a few of you who are a bit in the dark about what this test entails. So what is MUET? Why is it important? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, MUET is the acronym for the Malaysian University English Test, and its main objective is to measure your English language proficiency and your language preparedness to pursue your first degree at any of our local universities. Now, please bear in mind, dear students, that MUET is compulsory for all of our local universities, especially public universities, yeah. But as far as I am concerned, most private universities also make it compulsory for you to have MUET as an entry requirement. Okay, so for public universities, MUET is compulsory, but in most private universities, it is also made compulsory for your entry requirement. So you need to have your MUET before you enter your degree. Okay, I know at this point all of you are still at the foundation level. You are about to enter your foundation level. But picture this, yeah, dear ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when you enter your degree later, you need to have your MUET, yeah, your MUET results in hand. Okay, now to the next slide. Why do we need MUET? Why is it important, yeah, ladies and gentlemen? The reason why our Malaysian University English test is important is because we must, as I've mentioned earlier, I repeat, we must have our MUET results in order to apply for any degree programs. Okay, so when you apply in your UPU form, when you fill up your UPU form, you need to have your MUET test band, yeah, in hand. Now, please bear in mind, please remember that for different faculties, for different programs, they have different MUET requirements. For example, I'm just going to put some illustrations here, yeah. If you wish to pursue law degree later, once you have finished your 2 semesters of foundation studies and you wish to apply for law degree, you need to know the minimum MUET requirement. For example, it might be a 4.0, a band 4.0, or it might be a band 4.5. You need to know that. Another example, yeah, for instance, you wish to pursue your degree in medicine, or you wish to pursue a degree in dentistry or pharmacy, you also need to know the band requirements. So different faculties have different requirements. Law maybe 4.0, dentistry maybe 4.0, maybe 4.5. Yeah, so these requirements constantly change from year to year. So sometimes 1 year is 4.0, maybe this year is different. 2 years ago it was maybe 3.5. So you need to take full advantage of this Minggu Destini Siswa to ask your Ketua Pusat Pengajian. InsyaAllah, in the next few days, you will have some taklimat, some briefings with your Ketua Pusat Pengajian Sains, Ketua Pusat Pengajian Engineering, Ketua Pusat Pengajian Undang-Undang. So take full advantage of your meeting with them. Ask them the question, what is the minimum band requirement for me to get in terms of MUET in order for me to pursue my degree later on? As I said, it constantly changes from year to year, from semester to semester. So again, an example, law degree, maybe a minimum band 4.0. For engineering, maybe 4.0 or 3.5. Take full advantage. Ask your Ketua Pusat Pengajian when you listen to their briefings in a few days' time. Okay, so just bear in mind different faculties. Again, if you want to pursue your degree in TESL, for example, TESL, what is the minimum MUET band requirement in order for you to enter TESL? Okay, all right, so I hope I've made things clear. Let's move on to my next slide. Okay, so for your information, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there are 4 components that will be tested in MUET. Okay, so when you register for MUET, you need to know that there are going to be 4 skills that they will test you. Number 1 is going to be your listening paper. Number 2, your speaking. Number 3, reading. And number 4, they will test you on your writing skill. Okay, so the usual 4 skills in English: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now, let's talk about listening. Okay, I'm not going to delve so much into the MUET format. Okay, but I just want to explain to you that you need to answer 30 questions within 50 minutes. Okay, so when you sit for MUET, they will give you 50 minutes in which you have to answer 30 multiple choice questions. The maximum score for your listening paper is 90. Same goes to your speaking. For your speaking, it's going to be done individually as well as in a group, and it is going to be within 30 minutes. And again, same like your listening paper, you will be given a maximum score of 90. Now, as let's move along to the reading and writing papers. So, reading paper, you will be given 1 hour and 15 minutes, okay, 75 minutes. And your writing paper, you will be asked to complete 2 tasks, okay, so task 1 and task 2. Those 2 tasks need to be completed within 1 hour and 15 minutes as well. Yes, 75 minutes. So if you notice, if you look at the maximum score, 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 totals up to 360 marks. Okay, so I will explain about the 360 marks later, but you have to remember these are all the components that will be tested in your MUET test, okay, in the Malaysian University English test. Okay, now let's talk about your MUET bands. Okay, remember I kept referring to MUET bands, MUET requirements, MUET results. They're the same thing. Okay, so these are the MUET bands. The maximum scores for each respective component is 90, 90, 90, 90 equals up to 360 marks. Okay, so if you happen to be very proficient in the language, you scored well in all of the written as well as speaking components, then you can get a band. The highest is band 5 plus, which shows that you are a very proficient language user. Now, if you look at the MUET band score, we are using a new kind of format, yeah, starting last year, 2021, we are using a new MUET band format. So the lowest would be band 1.0, which means you are a basic user. And then we shall proceed to upwards to 2.0, up until 3.5, up until 4.5, and the highest is a MUET 5 plus. Right, so as I've mentioned earlier, different programs, different faculties, they require different MUET bands. Okay, so again, if you wish to pursue your degree in engineering, for example, if you wish to pursue your degree in education, TESL, you need to know what's the minimum requirement. How do you know? You can find out during the briefings with your Ketua Pusat Pengajian in a few days' time. All right. Okay. So just get yourselves updated. Ask questions after questions after questions. This is the purpose of your Minggu Destini Siswa. Okay. So if you look at this, that is the MUET band requirements. Okay. Now let's proceed to my next slide. Okay. Now, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most important slide of all of my presentation for today. If you look at this MUET calendar, this is very important. I hope it's clear for everyone to see. Usually in the normal MUET sitting, there are 3 sessions altogether per year. Sesi 1, sesi 2, and sesi 3. Okay, so if you look at this year, 2022's calendar, sesi 1, it was done in back in March and April. Okay, March, April of this year. So we can totally disregard that. If you look at sesi 2, ladies and gentlemen, The tests were conducted within June to July of this year. Okay, specifically the speaking test was conducted uh, from the 21st up until the 29th of June, and when it comes to the written test, it was conducted a few weeks ago on the 16th of July. So again, ladies and gentlemen, please disregard SESI 1 and SESI 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please pay attention to sesi number 3. Session number 3, sesi 3, in which, okay, pardon me, but I would use this word unfortunately. Unfortunately, yeah, boys and girls, we didn't get to meet each other sooner. We didn't get to have this briefing sooner because if you look at the registration, the opening date was back on the 30th of June 2022. The registration, the pendaftarannya, it has already been opened since last month, 30th of June. And if you look at registration closes, when will it close? It will close on the 3rd of August, approximately 1 week from now. So we have 1 week if you wish to register for MUET Sesi 3. Okay, that's why I'm using the word unfortunately, yeah, because the registration has been open since last month. So you only have approximately 1 week to register for MUET if you wish to register for SESI number 3. Now, I cannot stress the importance, I cannot emphasize the importance for you to have your MUET results before semester number 2. Okay, if you look, let's go through this calendar together, yeah. If you look at the speaking test upon registration should be conducted from the 11th up to the 19th of October 2022. Okay, now if you look at the written test means here the combination of your listening paper, your reading paper, as well as your writing paper. Those three papers, listening, reading, and writing, are combined together under written test. So you will do your speaking test separately as compared to your other written test. So your written test will be conducted on the 5th of November. Okay, so for session number 3, you will have to sit for your test within the month of October and November, more or less 2 to 3 weeks from the speaking test to the written test. So please remember, speaking test will be done earlier. Your written test will be done a bit later. Okay, so when it comes to your speaking test, you are given 6 dates here on the 11th, 12th, 13th, as well as on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Don't assume that you will be involved in all of those dates. No, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you will only be given one of those dates. So, for example, they will ask you to sit for your speaking test on the 17th of October. That's it. Okay, so you're not involved in the speaking test on the 11th, 12th, 13th, only on the 17th, not on the 18th and 19th. Okay, so don't assume you will be away for all those 6 days. So don't misunderstand that, yeah? Okay, now approximately 2 to 3 weeks later, you will be sitting for your listening, reading, and writing papers simultaneously on the 5th of November. Okay, now the results will only be released in January. So approximately 2 months later, you will get your results. Okay, so for the MUET normal sitting, for this year, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, disregard sesi 1, disregard sesi 2, but please focus on sesi ketiga. Okay, as I have mentioned earlier, you need your MUET band before you embark on semester number 2. So you have to register. Please register for MUET as soon as possible. And I really encourage you to register for MUET Sesi 3. Okay, but do not be surprised, yeah, dear students. Don't be surprised if you go to the MPM website, the Majlis Peperiksaan Malaysia website. you might discover that a lot of centers have no vacancy anymore. There's no vacancies in the Klang Valley. There's no more vacancy in Seremban. There's no vacancy in Alo Gajah. It's not a surprise, yeah, because as I've mentioned, the opening registration has started back on the 30th of June. Okay, and you have to bear in mind, you're not the only ones wanting to register for MUET. Okay, so we are here, foundation students in UiTM, foundation students from UIA want to register, foundation students from University Putra Malaysia also want to register. You have foundation students from University Malaya wanting to register, matriculation students, you have STPM students. So it's like a competition, yeah, dear students. When the MUET registration opens, it's like a competition. Everyone wants to get a place in a center near their hometown. So look at the centers near your hometown. Is there any vacancy? Is there any availability? Please take note. If there is a vacancy, you are very, very, very lucky. Register as soon as possible. Okay, but if you find that, okay, you live in the Klang Valley, you live in Shah Alam, you live in Kuala Lumpur, there's no more vacancy, I suggest you find somewhere, a center the closest to your hometown. So for example, if you live in Bandar Melaka, there's no more vacancy in Bandar Melaka. So you have to find another center, maybe in Alo Gajah, maybe in Jasing, for example. If you live in Shah Alam, there's no vacancy in Shah Alam. So you have to find a center in perhaps Klang or in Sepang, for example. Find somewhere closest to your hometown. Now, there are situations where there's no vacancy in at all in your state. For example, in Selangor, there's no more vacancy. So what you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, you have to find another state closest to your hometown. So for example, if you live in Melaka, you have to find a center in Negeri Sembilan, or you might have to find a center in Johor, somewhere in Johor. Find another state closest to Melaka. Another example, if you live in Kelantan, there's no more vacancy there in Kelantan. Maybe you have to go through a center in Pahang or in Terengganu. Okay, so you have to find another state. That is basically the catch when it comes to no vacancy. When it comes to the registration date, it has started last month. So we have wasted many weeks prior to our meeting today. So if possible, if you find that there is a center nearby, register as soon as possible. Okay, I hope I've made things clear. Again, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Okay, now, boys and girls, dear students, what if there is really no more vacancy, not even in Kelantan, not even in Perlis, not even in Terengganu, in Perak, there's no vacancy at all for sesi nombor 3. Maybe the nearest one is in Sabah or Sarawak. It is quite impossible, for us. For example, we are in Dengkir right now. For us to travel all the way to Sarawak just to sit for MUET, it's quite impossible. Maybe in terms of financial, maybe in terms of family commitment, it's quite impossible. So do not despair, don't fret, don't worry. You have an alternative, and I will be sharing you another alternative. But before that, let me share with you this registration advert. Okay, this information conveyed to me from Majlis Peperiksaan Malaysia. As I've mentioned, tarikh buka pendaftaran last month. Okay, are you able to find the center? InsyaAllah, hopefully. Now, tarikh tutup pendaftaran will be at approximately 1 week from now, 3rd of August 2022. I have mentioned before that you will sit for your speaking test earlier. in October, and then followed by your 3 other written tests, your listening, your reading, and your writing on in November. Okay. Now, when it comes to the fee, how much will it cost for you to register for MUET? The normal sitting will cost 100 ringgit. Okay, so warga negara, it will cost you 100 ringgit Malaysia. So you have to have your cash ready for you to register. Now, how do you register? Very, very simple. All you have to do is go to MPM website. Okay, Majlis Peperiksaan Malaysia website, and they will inform you one by one from step 1, step A to the next step. How do you register for MUET? Okay, but you don't have to buy any PIN numbers because you are calon persendirian. Okay, so as a calon persendirian, you don't have to buy any PIN numbers. How do you pay? You pay directly to MPM. Okay, they will inform you a bit later. So if you look at this, number 1, pendaftaran calon persendirian individu adalah secara dalam talian sahaja. You will do the payment online. Okay. Now, no more pins. If you have any queries, if you have any questions, you can also go to the MPM website, www.mpm.edu.my. Everything is there. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about the alternative. Remember, dear students, when I talked about the other alternative, if you really find it difficult to find a test center near your hometown. Okay, now you have what is called MUET on demand. MOD, MUET on demand. Now, the title speaks for itself. It is on demand because sometimes candidates are unable to register for the normal MUET sitting. Okay, so now NPM has provided a test registration for every single month of this year. So if you notice, January up until December, so all of the 12 months of our year, they have provided a MUET on demand. So what's the difference between the MUET normal sitting as compared to MUET on demand? I will explain the differences a bit later in my next slide. But if you take note, again, the registration for MOD, yeah, if you find that there's no centers available at your hometown or nearby, then you can go to or you can resort to MUET on demand. So if you look at January up until, let's say, July, please disregard that because they have all passed. Okay, if you look at August, let's say August, when was the registration open? For the month of August, the registration was open back on the 13th of July 2022. And when is the closing date? 27th of July, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the closing date for the month of August. MOD month of August, I think it's safe to say that you can also disregard that, okay? Because the test will be conducted on the 20th of August. Today is the closing date. So you can try your luck, but you can disregard that. If you look at the month of September, October, November, December, MPM also provides MUET on demand within these months, and you guys can resort to that. For example, for the month of September, MOD, MUET, to be conducted in the month of September. When is the opening registration? It will open on the 3rd of August and it will close on the 17th of August. So if you wish to register for MUET in September, you have to be ready on the 3rd of August. Do not delay. Don't assume, alah, ada a few more days left. Alah, ada a few more weeks left. Don't assume that. On the 3rd of August, at 8 o'clock sharp, be in front of your laptop. You can register. You, again, like I said, MUET registration is always like a competition. Yeah, it's always like a competition. All these other foundation students, matriculation students, STPM students, they all want to register as well. Okay, so don't assume you're the only one in Malaysia wanting to register for MUET on demand. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, for MUET on demand is unlike the normal sitting. It's because the number of candidates is very much limited. It's very limited. The number of centers, the venues are also very, very limited as well. So, like I said, don't take it for granted. Okay, now, if you wish to register for MOD in October, you are allowed to do so. November, December, you are allowed to do so as well. As long as, I repeat, as long as you have your MUET results before semester 2. Okay, now all of you are about to embark in semester 1. By semester 2, you should have your MUET results ready. Okay, because when you are asked to fill in your UPU form, you have your MUET results. Okay, otherwise, if you don't have your MUET results, you are not able to go through degree programs. Okay, you will not be called for interviews for courses that require interviews. You will not be called up for to be accepted for that degree program without your MUET results. Okay, so I stress the importance, I emphasize the importance for you to have your MUET results by semester 2. Okay, now personally, if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, okay, if you ask me, last resort, I would try to register for the November or December session. I wouldn't register for August, I wouldn't register for September, and I wouldn't register for October. I would probably eye on the November and December MODs, and I will explain why a bit later. Okay, so look at November and December. Try to aim for these MODs. If you cannot aim for sesi number 3, normal sitting, and I will explain a bit further as to why. Okay, now remember, I've mentioned earlier, there are some differences between MUET normal sitting versus MUET on demand. Okay, so here are the differences. For our regular sitting, you only have to pay 100 ringgit. But if you choose to sit for MUET on demand, it will cost you a bit higher, 250 ringgit. Okay, the differences in terms of the price, the fee, the payment is because when it comes to the regular sitting, you will get your result approximately after 2 months after you have sat for the test. But when it comes to MOD, you will get your result a lot faster, within 2 to 3 weeks sahaja, not 2 to 3 months like the normal sitting, but only to 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so if you sit for MOD, for example, you have sat for the one in July, after 2 to 3 weeks, you will get your result. Okay, so that's why the immediate examining, the immediate marking by the examiners require that higher payment. Okay, so the first difference is one is 100 ringgit, the other is 250 ringgit. Now, for the regular sitting, the normal sitting, there are centers in almost all states, in schools, in colleges, in universities, a lot of venues throughout the states in Malaysia. Okay, so you have some centers in Terengganu, some centers in Perak, some centers in Pahang, some centers in Kedah. Okay, but when it comes to MUET on demand, there are only 2 venues available that provides MOD. Number 1 is at MPM itself, Majlis Peperiksaan Malaysia. It is located in Batu Caves, Selangor. Okay, so MPM venue in Batu Caves, Selangor. That's venue number 1. And the second venue is at Eco Sky, Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so there are only 2 known centers for MOD. So if you are from Perlis, if you are from Sabah, if you are from Sarawak, the fact that you have to fly all the way to Semenanjung just to sit for MOD can be something to really be considered. Okay? Now, the results, as I've mentioned earlier, normal sitting, the results will only be released in approximately 2 months after you have sat for the test. But for MOD, because of the higher payment, the immediate examining, you will get your results in approximately 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so that's the difference. And last but not least, the sessions. When it comes to the normal regular the sittings, there are 3 sessions. Sesi number 1, remember sesi 1, it was conducted back in March, April. Sesi 2, it's conducted June, July. And sesi number 3, which I really encourage for all of you to register, will be conducted in October and November of this year. Okay, however, for MUET On Demand, there are sessions available every single month. But like I said, for you foundation students of UiTM Dengkil campus, try, I would say try to vie for October or November or December sittings. And again, I will explain exactly why. Okay, now, next one is how to register. As I've mentioned, how do you register for Calon Persendirian? You can register at this website, www.muet.mpm.edu.my/home. Okay, so if you are in front of your laptop right now, you can go to this particular website. That's how you register, and I will show you a bit the interface of this particular website. Okay, so if you look at the screen right in front of you, this is the interface once you have decided to register for MUET. Okay, so you will see home, several announcements. It says here, this page is strictly for MUET 2022 private candidates online registration. So you see this, there are several announcements. Please read these announcements carefully. You're not allowed to purchase a pin. You don't have to anymore. The seating is limited. Okay, if the seating is limited for normal sittings, of course, for MOD, it's very much limited as well. Okay, so look at the instructions and guidelines carefully. If you have any questions, you can ask later. Okay, so this is the interface, and not only that, they will guide you one by one on how to register as a private candidate. So step 1, what do? Choose a center. Is there a center in Selangor? Is there a center in Kuala Lumpur? I don't know. If you're lucky, there are some, but I'm not so sure. Are there centers in Perlis, in Kedah, nearby your hometown? If there are, register as soon as possible. Okay. Step number 2, you need to fill in your personal information correctly. Okay. If you have misspelled your name for some reason, or if you have keyed in the wrong phone number, you will be asked to change those information later, and it will cost a fee of 25 ringgit. Okay, if you have made a mistake in terms of your filling in your information, it will cost you a fee of 25 ringgit if you want to amend any information later. Okay. Number 3, you can proceed with the payment. Like I said, unlike previous years, previous MUET sessions, they had to buy pins. You don't have to buy pins anymore because you are private candidates. So number 3, you just have to make the payment online. And number 4, they will give you a statement of registration. And please keep your registration safely, securely, because you have to bring this statement of registration when you sit for your test later. Okay, so I hope everything is clear. Again, if you have any question, you can ask later. Okay, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we're running out of time. Luckily for all of you foundation students, here at UiTM Bentil campus, we have a course, okay? When you embark on semester 1, you will sit for a course called ELC 080. ELC 080 stands for English for Foundation Studies 1. Okay, so this course is offered specifically for law students, science students, as well as engineering students. Okay, so for you law, engineering, science students, you will sit for this particular course. You will take this particular course, English for Foundation Studies 1. And when you sit for this course, when you take this course, it is similar to MUET. Okay, I stress the word similar. It's not exactly the same as MUET, but it is similar. It's not exactly the carbon copy. Yeah, it's similar in which we will guide you on how to answer listening questions related to MUET. We will guide you on how to answer writing questions, complete task 1 and task 2 for the writing paper. We will have many practices. We have many lessons on reading, for example. So you're very lucky we have this course ELC 080, in which it is kind of sort of like MUET, in which your lecturers will guide you on how to answer or tackle MUET questions. Okay, like I said, it is similar, but it's not a carbon copy. There are some differences in which all of your lecturers will explain to you when you enter foundation studies in semester 1. Okay, now TESL students, you must be wondering, what about us? What about TESL students? TESL students, you are not going to take ELC 080, but you also have other courses that you will be taking once you embark in semester 1. TSL, all these TSL courses will also lead you to the practice of MUET. Okay, so don't fear, don't be frightened. Everyone will be guided on how to answer MUET. Okay, and the textbook that we will be using for this semester, just to give you a gist of what you will be encountering in semester number 1, we will be using MUET Strategy Towards Success. Okay, so when you enter foundation studies, your first class of ELC 080, you will have this textbook, MUET Strategy Towards Success. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember when I've mentioned, if you wish to take MOD, MUET on Demand, try not to take the one in September, of course in August or October for that matter. It's because we wouldn't fully cover the syllabus by then. By November or December, we would have done plenty of practices. You would be exposed to plenty of lessons in ELC 080. So it's fresh from the oven. You will have plenty of exercises. You will get plenty of lessons. You have plenty of consultations with your lecturers. A lot of practice. Then once you are done with all of those ELC 080 practices, you can sit for MOD November or December, because by then you would finish or you would have finished the syllabus. Okay, so try not to take the ones earlier, because if you take one in August, you might not have finished. Of course, you wouldn't have finished the syllabus by then. If you take the one in September, it's too soon. Maybe we haven't covered writing part or reading part, or you haven't had any or plenty of practices. Yeah, so if I were you, I would really advise for you to sit in front of your laptop upon the registration for either November or December. So again, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, I fully encourage you to have your MUET results by semester 2. Okay, because if you only sit for MUET in semester 2, it will be far, far too late. You might not be able to fill in your UPU form. That's how devastating it will get. Because you not being able to fill in your UPU form, you won't be able to continue towards your degree. Okay, so we don't want that. Nobody wishes for that to happen. Okay, so please take MUET registration very, very seriously. All right. Okay, so That's it, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. We are done with our MUET briefing for our Minggu Destini Siswa. Does anyone have any question, Encik Rizal? Perhaps we can open some questions from the audience, from our students.
Okay, madam, kita tengok madam cakap bahasa Inggeris tadi, saya nak cakap bahasa Inggeris, nak try juga tapi takut tergeliat lidah.
Alamak, tak payahlah Encik Rizal. Tak apa. Kami diri bahasa sini.
Tapi saya suka madam punya penjelasan tu sangat-sangat jelas, penuh gaya. Tapi kalau pelajar tak faham juga, saya tak tahu. Tapi saya cuba membaca beberapa persoalan. Ada soalan-soalan dekat sini, dekat YouTube ni dah dijawab sebenarnya. Contohnya, apa beza band 1 hingga band 6 tu rasa dah terjawab rasanya kan. And then
band 1 basic user ya. Basic user. Okay, band 4 is what we call like intermediate user. When it comes to band 5, you are a proficient user. Okay, so it's the difference is basically between, are you able to construct simple type of sentences or more complex sentences, or are you able to understand abstract thoughts? You are able to express yourselves freely without having to think a lot about what you would be expressing. So that's the difference between the bands, yeah.
Okay, ada juga soalan cara bagaimana nak daftar MUET. Semua itu saya rasa kalau daftar MUET tadi dah dijelaskan, kena pergi ke MPM, betul Bazilah?
Ya, Majlis Peperiksaan. Just go to the website ya. Pergi ke website tu, just go to the website. Semua dah diterangkan di website muet.mpm.edu.my/home. Ya.
Okay, ini soalan ni rasanya saya boleh jawab. Dia kata kalau dia dah ambil MOD, sekarang dia berada di kampus and then dia kena balik dekat hometown dia. Okay, caranya mudah saja, email dekat kami dengan bukti MUET tu, maklumkan kena hadir MUET. Biasanya tidak ada masalah untuk balik ya. Okay, kalau kelas madam kena tanya madam lah.
Betul, tak ada masalah. Kalau ada slip pendaftaran tu, tunjuk je pada pensyarah dan insyaAllah pensyarah akan faham. Dia akan bagi green light for you to go. Ya.
Okay, banyak rasa kebimbangan ya madam, sebab MUET pendaftaran dekat Selangor ni dah penuh. Seperti kita sudah maklum dah penuh, jadi
betul,
mereka macam mana nak daftar, macam mana nak pergi semua.
Itulah kalau tanya saya lah, my personal thought ya, untuk Klang Valley memang goreng pisang panas lah. Very hot ya for Klang Valley venue centers. Jadi it's not a surprise dan memang memang expected pun the fact that there won't be any venues available in the Klang Valley. So like I said earlier, kalau tak ada dekat Klang Valley, then kita register dekat other nearby centres. Sebagai contoh dekat Nilai ke, dekat Melaka ke. Ada yang based on my personal experience, daripada pengalaman saya yang terdahulu, pelajar saya duduk dekat Kuala Lumpur tapi dia pergi ke Seremban. Semata-mata nak ambil MUET. Sebab Seremban je yang available. Tak buat macam mana? You don't have the choice. Okay, so MUET sesi ketiga ni memang like I said, you know the word unfortunately earlier that I used, unfortunately kita tak dapat briefing ni, kita tak jumpa before the briefing. Kalau tak, maybe you are able to register for the centres, tapi it has been open for the past 1 month. Try your best to register at the nearest other state. It's not closest to your hometown, other state. From Melaka to Negeri Sembilan, or from Melaka to Johor, or if you are from Perlis, maybe dekat Kedah mungkin ya. So kena pandai-pandai cari lah di situ. Tapi itulah, kalau tak dapat, memang betul-betul tak dapat, MOD ada. Okay, boleh resort to MOD.
Okay, madam, mungkin kalau boleh explain semula kot. Dia tanya pasal berkaitan dengan PI 080 yang madam katakan tadi, ada berkaitan sedikit dengan MUET. boleh ringkas dengan semula kot. Sebab saya tengok macam berulang-ulang soalan ni. Okay.
Oh, Inka.
Boleh,
Okay. So, as I've mentioned in my presentation earlier, science students, engineering students, and law students, all of you will be taking ELC 080, English for Foundation Studies 1. It's not exactly the same, but it is similar. Okay. For example, we will teach you how to answer listening questions in the format of multiple choice. Okay. So multiple choice questions for ELC 080, it's multiple choice, similar to MUET. MUET is also multiple choice. When it comes to writing, we also have email writing, we have letter writing, we have extended essay writing. You are going to be taught on how to write an argumentative essay, problem solution essay. You are taught how to write discursive essay. So those are similar. But when it comes to reading, for example, for MUET, you will be asked to answer 40 multiple choice questions. I repeat, 40 multiple choice questions. But when it comes to our course, ELC 080, we will also expose you to multiple choice questions, but we have some open-ended questions along the way. So it's not really exactly the same. Yeah, we have open-ended questions. Okay, when it comes to the speaking test is very much the same. You have individual presentation, you have group discussion. Same goes to MUET. MUET also has individual presentation. It also has group discussion. So some parts are the same, some parts are slightly different. But all in all of your ELC 080 lectures will expose you to the MUET format. So by then, once we have covered the syllabus in October, November, December, everything will be clear. Everything will be easy to understand, and inshallah, you will be able to sit for your MUET very, very smoothly and easily. Okay, Cik Rizal, ada apa-apa soalan yang lain?
Okey, sekejap Okey, macam menarik. Dia nak tanya, kalau tengok tarikh test untuk MOD ada sehari saja tarikh. Maksudnya semua komponen akan dites dalam satu hari saja ke? Tengok gap macam je. Itulah maknanya dia tanya pasal MOD ni lah. Maksudnya kita macam kita cakap aku boleh explain sikit lah kot.
Okay, boleh. Thank you for the brilliant question. Thank you. Yes, the difference, one more difference between MOD and MUET normal sitting is, okay, kalau normal sitting kita ada ujian lisan dulu, in October, and then a few weeks after that kita ada ujian bertulis. Ujian bertulis gabungan listening, reading and writing. So they are done separately. But when it comes to MOD, all of these papers will be done simultaneously within the same day. You will be doing speaking, you will be doing writing, reading and listening all in the same day. Okay, so contoh hari Sabtu tu on the 5th of August as an example, everything will be done within that one day. Okay.
Soalan ni, if register for MUET after we finish our foundation lambat, boleh ke?
Tak boleh.
Okay.
After you have
Tak boleh lah kan?
foundation, memang tak boleh, dah terlambat. Because pada kebiasaannya, pada semester kedua pada semester kedua, all of you have to register, fill in your UPU. Okay, so without your MUET result, there's no point filling in UPU. Incomplete, incomplete information will not lead you to degree later. Okay, so kalau dah habis foundation, sangat-sangat terlambat. Kalau boleh by semester 1, before you reach semester 2, dah ada MUET result tu. Jadi bila UPU buka untuk filling in the form, nak kena isi maklumat semua, MUET form dah ada, tak payah risau kan. Jadi itulah, just the urgency, you have to think about the urgency of MUET registration. Terlambat, you cannot be too late. By semester 2 it will be very, very late. Okay.
Okey, soalan ni okey. Kena apa tu macam-macam Okey, dia kata dia dapat tarikh test MUET sama dengan tarikh test peperiksaan akhir. Rasanya madam tahulah nak ajar.
Oh,
Maksudnya
kalau
tarikh MOD tu maksudnya tarikh MOD tu sama dengan tarikh peperiksaan akhir ataupun ujian pertengahan kita lah macam tu. Macam mana kata dia?
okey, tak apa, jangan risau. Kalau ada clash di situ, insya-Allah Hal Ehwal Akademik akan memberi kelonggaran untuk para pelajar pergi ke MUET. Priority should be MUET. MUET, and then adalah anjakan ke postponement in terms of the final test ke, final exam ke, macam itulah. Akan diberi kelonggarannya.
Okey, saya jawab Kalau soalan macam gini biasanya kalau nak ambil MOD sebenarnya dah ada tarikh. MOD tu bila nak ambil and then seterusnya. Dan begitu juga dengan peperiksaan kita tu nanti. Peperiksaan kita sebenarnya kita dah bagi tarikh. You register, you boleh tengok kalender akademik itself. Dah diberitahu dah tarikh peperiksaan tu bila, ujian pertengahan tu bila, and then you plan. Plan maksudnya kalau tengok tarikh tu MUET tu masa tu ada ujian, masa tu ada peperiksaan akhir. Elakkanlah mana cari tarikh yang lebih bersesuaian. Okey. Ini macam dia tengok ada ujian, ada peperiksaan akhir, masa tu juga lagi nak ambil masa tu apa? Nak ambil macam cakap nak ambil MUET sebab MUET on demand setiap bulan madam Jadi cari tarikh-tarikh yang bersesuaian. Satu lagi yang saya rasa macam dekat, jangan ambil ujian memandu lah masa peperiksaan akhir.
Tolong JPJ test. Tolong jangan ambil JPJ test masa tengah ujian. Itu memang masalah besar.
Terkeluar sikit madam. Okey, satu lagi kejap Rasa macam banyak soalan dia sudah boleh jawab. Kita dah jawab tadi. Nak tanya degil akan buat teknik jawab MUET tak? Macam special class tu kot. Tapi rasanya ELC ada macam dia nak macam ke special class tu.
Biasanya it's enough lah, cukup kalau ada kelas ELC 080, insyaAllah lecturer akan ajar all the components that I have mentioned, semua akan diajar oleh pensyarah. Tapi ada juga some situations before this prior semester, kita ada seminar MUET, kita ada bengkel MUET, memang ada sebelum-sebelum ni. Jadi kalau based on demand kalau ramai sangat student nak MUET, bengkel MUET ni, MUET workshop, then bolehlah Encik Rizal Hal Ehwal Akademik organize kita boleh anjurkan.
Tengok ya kepada kekosongan pensyarah APB kita. Mereka ni agak boleh katakan sebenarnya untuk pengetahuan semua pensyarah APB dia mengajar keseluruhan program So memang mereka ni full katakan. Tapi kita tengoklah kadang-kadang mereka ni juga very helpful, terutama Puan Bazilah ni kalau nak minta tanya persoalan nak buat apa mereka sentiasa bantu. Semua tim APB saya sangat puas hatilah. Macam orang cakap apa, APB ni ada di mana-mana saja. Okey, saya rasa
so all of the lectures will be helping Kalau ada soalan ke, ada nak buat consultation ke, nak buat latihan extra practices ke, they are always welcoming. So jangan risaulah. Don't worry about that. Dear students.
Okey, jadi sebelumlah kita dan hampir pukul 11 sebelum saya menamatkan taklimat kita pada hari ini, sekiranya ada persoalan bolehlah tanya soalan dekat grup Telegram tu, ada nama-nama pegawai yang tu update tu, boleh tanya, insya-Allah mereka akan jawab. Saya ingatkan supaya pelajar terus mendaftar di pendaftaran akademik HEA tu yang kami sertakan link tu. Penting sebab mungkin ada setengah pelajar ada masalah dari segi pendaftaran Microsoft. Mohon aktifkan, nak tak nak pun you kena aktifkan juga, sebab bila you belajar nanti you akan gunakan juga akaun tu, terutama menggunakan Microsoft Teams, betul madam? Menggunakan akaun Microsoft, and then kebanyakan maklumat-maklumat berkaitan UiTM kita akan salurkan ke email tersebut. Okay, and then satu lagi saya ingin maklumkan bahawa hari ini adalah taklimat kita yang pertama untuk program MDS sesi 1 ni. Jadi kita pelajar akan mendengar sebanyak 11 taklimat semuanya, dan setiap taklimat tu akan diberikan bagikan link kehadiran markah ko. Kalau tak salah saya akan diberikan markah ko. And then taklimat saya nak memaklumkan ni adalah satu taklimat yang sangat-sangat penting juga kan, dipanggil taklimat utama lah, iaitu taklimat pendaftaran. Sebab banyak persoalan-soalan yang pelajar saya terima daripada rakan-rakan yang lain, iaitu berkaitan dengan pendaftaran. Sebab kita memang bukan tak jawab, kita akan jawab secara sikit sebab makluman ni kita akan beritahu di dalam taklimat pendaftaran. Jadi kalau ikut kat sini tak berapa ramai yang tengok. Jadi kalau boleh, kalau kenal sesiapa, kawan-kawan yang kenal, minta hadir besok, iaitu pada 28 Julai 2022 hari Rabu pada pukul 10 pagi di platform yang sama YouTube. Jadi dengar taklimat tu yang sangat penting kerana mereka akan disampaikan oleh pegawai-pegawai utama daripada hal ehwal pelajar, hal ehwal akademik, bahagian bendahari, yang banyak soalan bendahari ni, dan juga bahagian berkaitan dengan ICT itu bahagian jabatan unit infrastruktur. Okey, ingat besok catat dalam jadual jangan lupa besok sangat-sangat penting jadual ni. Okey, saya sebelum mengakhiri ni saya mengucapkan terima kasih banyak-banyak Miss Nurul Bazilah dan Hamid, comel orangnya. Okey, telah menyampaikan taklimat selama 1 jam dan memberikan jawapan yang sangat informatif dan jelas pada saya lah kot. So harap pelajar semua sangat berpuas-hati. Mungkin akan jumpa beliau secara fizikal nanti kalau ada yang jumpa nanti.
InsyaAllah. Tegur-tegur lah. Tegur-tegur lah.
Terima kasih banyak Madam. Jadi kita sudahi taklimat MUET kita pada hari ini dengan tasbih kifarah dan surah Wal-As.
Terima kasih Cik Iza. Terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih semua. Terima kasih Puan Bazilah. Assalamualaikum.